Hello everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage. Today is Marvelous Monday and I'm Leslie Watkins. So today I'm going to be doing a little more complicated paper crafting project. This is going to be a decorative little box. On Saturday, if you saw me do paper crafting Saturday, you saw me make one of these little hinged boxes. Today I'm going to be using the same pattern as I did for this small hinged box, but I'm going to be giving it a spooky twist. So I just want to show you this suite in the mini catalog. It's called Magic in This Night, and this is a Halloween suite, and it's really one of the most beautiful Halloween suites we've had in a long time. And it's spooky, but it's also extremely elegant at the same time, and I just really like it a lot. So let me show you the different components that come with this suite. So there are your double-sided designer series paper, and they're really beautiful. The colors that are used on these papers are Pretty Peacock, Blackberry Bliss, Cajun Craze, and Basic Black. There is a stamp set and a die set. There's also a 3D embossing folder, and that has cobwebs on it. There's some black glitter paper. There are the iridescent pearls and a 1 1/2 inch metallic mesh ribbon. And I'm going to be using a lot of those things today. So I'll show you what I've got here that I'm using. I'm using the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I have out the iridescent pearls. I have the Cobwebs 3D embossing folder. Here's the stamp set. It's called Hollow's Night Magic, and I'm just going to be using this large spider and this sentiment that says there is magic in this night. But look at this elegant Happy Halloween. I mean, that script is just gorgeous. And in the dies, here are the matching die sets. I'm going to be using this spider die, but you see it's got these ornate kind of label dies, and you can decorate them with this beautiful line work and then put the Happy Halloween in the center. I'm not going to be using those today, but I am going to be using some of the other things. And I have out the ornate frames die set, and here I'm using this one and this one. And I've already done all of the cutting and embossing ahead of time so that this video doesn't get too long. But all of the information about all of these products will be listed below after I do the video. Okay, so let's get started. Just checking to make sure we are broadcasting, and we are. Okay. Okay, so I have some things that I've already prepared ahead of time. So here is that beautiful little ornate frame that I punched out in the silver foil paper, and then I picked this sentiment, there is magic in this night, and I'm just going to mount that on there in a moment. Then I've got a piece of, let's measure, this is the designer series paper, and this measures 3 inches 3 inches by 2 1/4. And then I've got 3 more pieces of the silver foil, and these measure 2 5/8 by 3 3/8. So there's 3 pieces of those. I've stamped and cut out 2 pair of spiders, and this is Cajun Craze cardstock and the black ink. Put these over here. And I have a half sheet of black cardstock, and this measures 5.5 by 8.5. And all I'm going to do, this is going to be our box base. And I'm going to take out my trimmer, but I'm going to be using the score blade. And I'm just putting it so that it's at the 1-inch mark over here. And I'm just going to score that all around at 1 inch on 4 sides. And then I'm going to find the center. So because this is 8.5, I know that the center is 4.25. And then I'm going to simply divide my border, which is 1 inch, in the middle. So that would be a 1/2 inch. So if I go a 1/2 inch in each direction, I will be centered. So there I go at 4 3/4. And then over to the right at 3 3/4. Okay, now I know it's hard for you to see the lines on the black paper, but let me see if I just fold it, if it'll make it a little bit easier. Okay, I think you can see that. So it looks like that. And I'm just going to cut up on these score lines until I reach that first intersection. So I'm going to do that on both sides. These are the long sides that I'm doing it on. Okay, and so now, in order to make the corners fit nicely, I'm just going to trim away a little wedge on the tabs, just like that. All right, so not on the long rectangular ones, but these smaller, more squarish shaped ones. I know it seems early to get ready for Halloween, but it's not that far off. And if you do like these items, you want to make sure that you can order them in time so that you have them to get ready. Okay, so there is the basis of our box. Okay, and now I just want to decorate the outside. So I'm going to start with one of the pieces of the silver foil, and I'm going to glue that to the top of the box, just like that, making sure that the edges are nice and even. Now because this is the top of the box, I'm also going to take my circle punch and, let's see, let me do this so you can see it. I'm just going to take out a little thumb hole like that. There we go. Okay. And then what I did was, with the other two pieces of the silver foil, I put them through the die and cut machine, or the cut and emboss machine, with this Cobwebs 3D embossing folder. And that gave me a piece of silver foil with this beautiful, really high relief cobweb design. And this I'm going to put on the inside of the box. So here's a piece for the bottom. This will be the bottom of the box. Okay, and then I'm going to take, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I have this silver thread, and I'm going to take a little strand of that. It's very fine. And this thread is something that you can pick up at your local craft store. And then I'm taking a pair of spiders, and I'm just putting, well first, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me get a glue dot first to hold that thread in place. So here's a glue dot. And I'm putting that on my spider, and I'm taking my silver thread and I'm going to place that so that's coming out the back of the spider. I don't know if you can see that. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the glue and just put a couple of dots and just kind of move that around down the length of the leg. Get that on the back legs. So if you just put a little dot like that, and then with the nozzle of your glue, just sort of drag it along the leg so it's not too thick. And then I'm going to take another spider and I'm going to sandwich that silver thread in between. And give that a good press. Alright, so I end up with something that looks like this, that dangles. Okay? Now taking my other piece of embossed foil paper, I'm going to use a glue dot again, and I'm going to take my spider, I'm going to wrap that put him in the center, and then wrap this around and glue that into place with the glue dot. Okay, and I can trim off the excess silver thread. All right, get that out of the way. Taking a little of the liquid glue. And now I'm going to put this in my box on the lid. And I know this is the lid because I've taken this little divot out for the thumb hole. So there's my dangling spider. And I know you can't see it so well from this camera angle, but he's hanging very nicely. Just get that centered in there. And I'm going to give that a little burnish. There we go. Now back to the lid of our box. I've got a little glue coming out. Let me just clean that up. Wipe your glue away as soon as you see it, and you won't have any problem with it. Okay, so here's the top of our box. Let's decorate that. I've got a little piece of the DSP cut out, and I don't remember if I told you the measurement of this, but this one is 2 1/4 by 3. Oh, before I do that, I've got one more embellishment that I want to add here. So this is the metallic mesh ribbon, and it's very spidery and shiny, very, very beautiful. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of this, I'm going to wrap it around this card. So it's about a foot of ribbon, I'd say. And again, using a glue dot, I'm going to find the halfway point on that and just stick it to the back of my card, to one side, slightly to one side. And I'm going to tie this in a little knot. You could make a bow, but I'm just going to make a knot for now. Okay, and I'll trim that in a minute. And now I'll take my glue. I've got a feather stuck to me. And I'm just putting that centered on my foil. And I'm going to also mount my sentiment onto my frame. These ornate frames are really, they come out so beautifully. They're very, very ornate. And oh, I think I see a couple of little spots that I didn't poke out. So I'm just taking my piercing tool and pop those out. Okay, and then my sentiment right in the middle. I'm running out of glue here. I'm just going to tuck that and bring you in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so I'm going to trim this on the ends a little bit. I'm just kind of opening this up so it's very webby looking. There we go. And now let's assemble the box next. I think that'll be easiest. So to assemble your box, you're just going to make sure that all of these tabs are scored and folded. I'm going to start in the middle here. Put a little bit of glue in the center of each of these tabs. And bring the bottom up. So if I, oh, here you go. Okay, so I've got the glue on these two tabs. So if I raise the bottom of the box up and gently press in those sides, by keeping the box perpendicular to my table surface here, it's going to help me to get a very nice true or squared corner. So I'm just going to hold that for a second. This is a new bottle of glue, so now the glue's coming out fast, and so I don't want to smudge the edges. And I'm just holding that for a minute. There we go. All right, now for the inside edges of my box, I'm just going to gently fold this back so you can see what I'm doing. So the edge of the sides should be nice and even with your corner to make sure that you've got a good square box. Okay, and now in the front, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to fold these tabs down, put a little bit of glue right in the middle, and then bring this up and hold those in place. Just a moment. And I can take my bone folder and give that a little burnish. Make sure the glue is nice and even. Okay, and now for our lid, same thing. And I'm just going to tuck that in like so. Hold that for a minute. And this glue doesn't take long at all to set up, but it takes just long enough so that if you want to wiggle your pieces into position, you have that chance. So while it's still not quite set up, I can test my box by closing it and making sure that I have a nice fit. Okay, and I'll give that a little burnish. Okay, so there's the inside of the box with the dangling spider. Okay, there's our dangling spider, so that when our gift recipient opens the box, they're going to have a wiggling, moving spider on the inside. And then on the lid, I'm going to decorate that a little bit more. So this time I think I'm going to use dimensionals. Now we have the black dimensionals. I don't have them handy right now, but if you have the black dimensionals, use those instead of the white, because I think it will help enhance the effect. I'm going to put one spider coming off the corner there, and another spider creeping out from under our ribbon over here. And then finally we've got these beautiful iridescent pearls. So let's see. I'm going to use these larger ones. They come in a number of sizes. It looks like 3 different sizes. So I'm going to take these great big ones and just put that on the spider's body. And there is our very spooky Magic in the Night gift box. Okay. With our spider on the inside. So I hope that gave you some ideas. And of course you could put any treats that you like on the inside here. It could be chocolate or jewelry or makeup or crafting supplies, you name it. So there it is. Give you a close-up look. So thank you very much for joining me today. If you're interested in learning more about my online classes and my events, I have a couple of wonderful events coming up this month. That one is free, which is a beautiful watercolor note card class. It's going to be a Zoom class and everybody's invited. And then I also have a stamp camp coming up at the end of the month. So if you're interested in learning more, please go to my website at dandelioncottagedesign.com and subscribe to Notes from Dandelion Cottage. And every month you will get a short newsletter just letting you know what's coming up for that month. So thank you so much. I'll see you next time on Watercolor Wednesday at 12 noon. Stay well, stay creative, and I'll see you then.